Don't clap, that's fucking me up. A big polluted lake. An urban myth that will make you shake. You know the Indian princess? You guys know it? Just Google it.
Welcome. It is Wednesday night. It is 7:30, and that means it's time for Three's Company Radio, coming at you live from the Governor's Studios here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, Long Island. I am Tony Landolfi, and as always, I am with the lovely and talented Bonnie Scalisi and the lovely and talented Mandy Jones. What you just heard coming in was our guest that will be on very shortly, Mr. Chris Roach. Can't wait. Before we do anything, I want to do a very, 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 very special thank you to the Governor's family for a great holiday party on last Monday. It was a great time. Thank you all so much for inviting us and having us there. The place was packed. People all just
DJ, fucking awesome buffet. Everybody was just hugging and having the best time ever. Everyone's taking pictures because they want to document all their best friends in the same room together. It was just a really
It was great.
It was a really cool experience. And we started
big name people there.
This is, I think, our 34th episode. And so we started this 36 months ago.
Wow. Nice.
And it was just really cool for people to even mention our show while, when we saw them there last night. It was really cool.
But big thank you to the Governor's family for having us there.
Yeah, I actually saw Joseph Carlotta when I was walking in. And
I
talked to him about how Governor's Comedy Club saved me from when I was working as a teacher for 30-something years. I would look forward to coming to Governor's, and I wanted to thank him in person because I probably would have slit my wrists if it hadn't been for something to look
forward to. No, it really is. Comedy really does save us, and I think it's why a lot of comedians have problems and have issues because they go to comedy to try to find the laughter and try to offset what's in their head. Okay. But
absolutely.
But we got to congratulate our girl, Bonnie Scalisi.
Yes. Thank you.
Bonnie made it on to round 2 of the tournament. Put Up, Shut Up, Stand Up with Don Sill. It's a brand new show here at Govs. It's a 2-hour comedy contest podcast. So they put 2 comedians head to head. They make you do 5 challenges against each other. There's experienced comedians who judge you the whole time and critique you.
Yeah.
It's an awesome fucking show. And Bonnie and I, we didn't start this yet. They don't know what that means. We didn't start this yet. That doesn't count.
That was good.
Okay. I guess so. I guess we'll segue into that. So Bonnie won.
Bonnie won. Congratulations.
Bonnie won, and we're all moving on.
Thank you. It was brutal. But
and really quick, happy birthday to Michelle Asta. She's part of the
Happy
Govs
birthday,
family.
Michelle.
She watches every fucking time, every week. She's commenting. She's posting. She is just a great supporter of us, and we love you, Michelle, and happy birthday. You look awesome.
Happy birthday.
Love seeing your family. I've never met your kids or your family. Well, I've met your husband, but I never met your kids. But Facebook, they make you feel like we connect, even though we're through screens. I know. He's going to say, all right, millennial. Okay, right, and then the last thing we want to get to before we get to our awesome guest we have tonight is on Friday, I am doing a show at a high school. So I have to go for 8 minutes without cursing. And if you've ever seen this show before, or if you know me, I've never gone 8 minutes in my entire life without cursing. So to try to reform some of my bad behavior, Tony will have a squirt gun and he will correct my behavior every time that I curse.
Don, what have you won?
And then Mike, our terrific sound guy who we love and adore, has a timer going, which resets every time I curse. So we're going to see how long I can make it tonight without cursing and without getting squirted in the face.
Here we fucking go.
Yeah, so no fucking way. And so they're already going to egg me on, so I'm going to have to really pull out the dictionary on this one, guys. So I hope you're rooting for me at home. I hope you're rooting for me at home. What else?
I just wanted to say thank you to Jeff Bosey, who was my opponent.
Oh, that was awesome.
And
that was awesome.
Everybody loves Jeff, and it was really... He gave me the fight of my life, and the only thing that put me over was the poll, which I think is hilarious because all of my Trump people are the ones I think who put the poll over the top.
Well, a lot of people are saying they have an issue with the poll. And
I don't like that you can see who voted for you.
Well, no.
Bonnie can work the poll.
No, the thing with the poll, for those of you that don't know, one of the challenges in Put Up, Shut Up, Stand Up with Don Sill is there's a voters poll. And so both opponents try to get their friends to see who gets more votes. And you could see the names of all your friends that voted for you. So they
and
can't
the ones
just
who
make
didn't.
So they just can't make up the numbers. But the point is, you have to have social media presence if you want to be a comedian in this world. If your friends won't even click your picture, they're definitely not paying $20 to go watch you do stand-up. So it's part of the game. And Bonnie and Jeff were 1.2 points
he actually
away.
Was ahead of me by 1.5 points. And the poll gave you an extra 10 points.
Yeah, so the poll, Bonnie's popularity, they had almost the equal amount of funny, but her Trump supporters came through for the win.
I don't think it was all Trump supporters, but
it wasn't all.
I think it's great that
Street Fighter voted for me.
I think it's great that you won the poll.
George Gallup voted for me.
You have no idea how to work social media. That's the funny part.
It's because I was promoting the banter. I was talking a ton of garbage.
Before she's like, Mandy, you got to show me how to send an email.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's why it's Three's Company, because the three of us get it together.
Yeah.
Yes, we all
if
help
it was
each
just
other.
one person, you have nobody checking you to, Bonnie loves the shout outs and the talking to the crowd. And Tony says sometimes we don't really need the crowd. But I
never said we don't need the crowd.
Yes, Tony would do this in front of the mirror.
Shut the fuck up.
No, but what we're getting at is we all have different ideas for the show and we all balance each other out.
Because I would do it too much. And then you kind of like...
and then we all interrupt each other. Right. And so, no one gets enough time of any... If you don't like anybody, you don't get to hear them very long because someone's going to interrupt them at some point.
I'm just waiting.
That's right.
I know. They're waiting for me to blow it, guys. I'm really trying.
She's going to curse.
Yeah, I know. They're going to get me too. They really are. But, Mike, how are we looking right now? All right.
Wow, 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, guys. This is a big deal. This is a big deal.
This is really going well. But one of our friends is watching, Lauren. I always butcher her
De Jesus.
name.
Lauren De Jesus.
Lauren is going to be at the Brokerage this Sunday at 3:30. I'm going to be there with my boyfriend.
Ooh.
You should be there and come watch her. She's hysterical.
Oh,
and the Brokerage
God.
is an amazing place to have fun. And they have great drinks and they have great food. And it's part of Governor's family. Come and watch her.
Yes. That's going to be awesome. Brokerage was the first Gov's comedy club that I performed at. And just the layout, the whole place is great.
Yes. It's a fantastic place, the Brokerage. Because Governor's is great. And speaking of Governor's, I will be performing here at Governor's January 31st in the Little Room along with Terry McNeely and Hugh Murray and a bunch of other people. Go to govs.com for tickets. Specify you want to go to Laughs in the Little Room. Don't look at me. And that's it. All right.
We are going to bring on
our guest.
Our guest because he's awesome. Chris Roach was Mott on Kevin Can Wait. He has a new comedy album called Roach Motel. It's already out. He's going to tell you more details about it during this talk here.
Get it on iTunes.
Welcome, Chris Roach.
Chris Roach.
Thank you. Move into the shot. He's like giant.
No, this place is getting smaller.
This place is shrinking.
Can you share, Mike?
It's getting
We're
smaller.
shrinking.
He's so tall.
You know what's amazing? One thing when I started taking acting classes, like film classes, one thing you learn right away, like see the distance between her and I?
Yeah.
On camera, it looks like 4 feet. So if you ever notice sports announcers, they're like this. They're touching each other.
Why does it look like
I
that?
don't know. Something happens on film.
The way it adds 10 pounds and stretches,
my head's normally not this big.
and stretches you out.
My head's normally not
Yeah,
this
he
big.
looks like the guy from Beetlejuice,
Thank you.
actually, and it's
Guy from
very
Beetlejuice
strange.
had a little head.
Yes,
I know,
that's
but
what
the
she's saying.
camera is.
Oh, you tried to make a joke.
Yeah, that's what the show is about.
I was with you.
She
Yeah.
tried to make a joke. Don't encourage
and
her.
you stepped out just to grab some coffee. I'm not allowed to curse because I'm trying. I'm trying really hard
She
not to
usually
curse.
curses. That's why this is
I have
new for her.
I have to do some clean comedy on Friday. So Mike's running a
wait.
timer for me, and I'm allowed to get sprayed in the face every time I cuss.
That's so funny because I actually been trying not to curse, just like
for regularly. I don't know what I don't know why
Do you
I
want
started
me to
doing.
shoot you too? If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
curse?
we can.
No, you don't shoot me. But I've been
Oh.
trying not to curse, like just in like. I was talking to my wife one day. I'm like, you sound like a trucker. I'm like my wife. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, his wife, your wife.
My wife, yeah, her mouth is.
How dare you speak that way?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'll kick your ass.
She got a little fucking fresh, you know.
I had to shower.
How dare-
Can they see me okay on here? Or-
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're
perfect.
good. Yeah,
you are
you're on,
perfect.
you're on.
Yeah. So that's it's interesting. There's one. Do you remember the SNL? It was like this girl, like probably about 15 years ago. I mean, to get on SNL is incredible.
Yeah.
She's on SNL. She's doing like a talk show thing, and she's like, "Yeah, so I told him, hey, what the fuck, And all of a sudden, you just saw her face go. She dropped the F-bomb right on SNL.
That's live TV back then.
I can't even tell you her name. She was probably
boy.
on for like
Yeah.
probably on for like 6 episodes.
Oh man,
That was her 6th
And
episode.
then they fired her
Yeah.
because of
That
that.
sucks.
If she never heard of her again. Never heard her again.
Whoa.
And
She probably killed herself. Like
Right?
Charles Rocket. Remember Charles
Well,
Rocket
how
from
about
SNL?
how
He
about
killed
that guy?
himself.
Why is going on my phone? Sorry.
What are you doing?
Sorry, my phone. Oh, the music went on by itself. What did I say? That kid just got kicked off SNL, and now he's touring comedy clubs across the country now.
Who?
Yeah, I heard
The
about
kid
that.
that got in trouble.
Oh, because of his tweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't remember his name, so that's
Yeah,
terrible.
so real
Exactly, I don't
famous.
We are
He really
terrible.
made it.
incident, but not the name.
Look at this kid
Terrible.
over here. My God, is it Wednesday? And it's like the club's almost sold out.
I don't know.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
performing. I
I'm
didn't
gonna
see
throw this
the.
against
Yeah,
the
well,
wall.
I don't
Anthony
know what's
Rodia.
going on.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't
great
know it was
turnout,
a radio
man.
show.
Great
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Oh,
Great
okay.
turnout.
I didn't realize. Okay.
So Roach Motel. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, where can they find it?
I'm looking for it too. No, you can go to. It's on iTunes. It's on. It's on Pandora, and it's on. It should be on SiriusXM soon.
And how do we find you on the internet? What's your website or your?
It's chrisroachlive.com. chrisroachlive.com. And what's interesting about I recorded something, the comedy special here. I will never record in a comedy club ever again.
Why? Why?
I'll have the governor's people sponsor or be a part of like a mini theater, because listen, it's one thing if you're a crowd work comic, it works for you, but I have material that's written, so figure all this material I wrote for years and years and tweaked, and we advertised it was going to be a taping. So these women come in and they're sitting up front and they just would not shut up.
I think I was there.
And
I saw that.
And Carrie Carabas, who featured, and the MC even said to them, "Listen, if you want to talk, I totally understand, but talk to me. And I went up there, and it was almost like, it's one thing when someone's trying to talk to you, but the worst is when someone's having a private conversation.
Right. It's being part of the act is one thing, and then
Yeah.
blatant
It's rude.
disrespect of the performer
It's
is
just
another.
rude.
Yeah, and now what's happening is I'm in my head, so I'm trying to perform my material, but I'm also listening.
Right.
It's distracting you.
And for somebody with ADD, I can't do both at the same time, So it's like, I said to the woman, I said, is something you want to say? She's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's her. Like, it's like the same scenario over and over.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's okay.
You know what that is? It's
No attention at home.
we got no kids
We got no
tonight.
yeah.
We got a night to go out. It's girls' night. We haven't been out in the last 15 years.
all about
We're
us.
gonna go out now. It's my time.
I've seen it.
Am I-
And Tony, you've seen it 16 years in the business, over and over and over. And I always say to people in the comedy audience, if you haven't seen each other in a while and you want to catch up, you're excited, maybe you got a babysitter or if it's the guy's night out, girls' night, whatever, go to a Fridays.
Right. You don't go to the movies when you want to catch up with people.
Right. You come and see, that's a great point. Go to happy hour or go to Fridays and then go to a late show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I've seen, and what happens is now they're drinking, and then the owner shushes them. They get offended. I've seen this hundreds of times.
Yeah. It's how it plays
Now they're
out.
making a scene. They don't
I'm
want to
paying
leave.
money. I should be able to talk and drink and be loud.
I'm not going to pay my check. The owner's going to call the car. It's always a big
Yeah.
drunken mess.
Yeah.
And
All right.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
a lot.
You got some dirt at the
grounds,
bottom of that
grounds.
garbage.
some of the governor's mud.
Got some grounds in there.
It's good for you.
No, I think you're right. People are very rude, and they think they're watching a television show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real person up there, and I've seen people get just the other week with Zach. Oh my God, what happened with Zach here? And
Do you remember a manager that used to be here, Ginny Lundgren?
Yeah.
She was fantastic.
Love Ginny.
David Tell was here, and he was trying out some new material. Now, David Tell, he's on stage. Comics are just like in awe in the back.
He's fantastic.
And we realize he's trying out material, and these girls in the back, these young girls, talking. So they got shushed not once but twice. Then they get offended. They're going to leave, and Ginny said to them, well, you wouldn't talk at a Broadway show, would you? And she's like, yeah, like this is a Broadway show. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like,
they
they
probably
don't
would talk at a
get
Broadway
it.
Yeah,
show.
you're not appreciating
get
the
it.
art.
They don't get it.
You're
Like
not appreciating the art.
the job for the job for an audience member is so simple. Just go along for the ride.
Just be quiet.
Laugh.
That, I don't
Attention.
get
Laugh
that.
loud.
And the other thing I don't get is that people who go to a comedy club and get offended.
Oh, that's a big thing
Right.
now.
When like they
Right,
get up and walk,
right.
"Oh, I can't believe he said that.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
That's
Yeah.
I still can't figure that out.
There was okay. So I remember being at McGuire's maybe like 2 years ago, and there's a woman sitting up front. She's leaning on her girlfriend. She's got her legs spread. I'm afraid to even look up. She's not an attractive woman.
Right.
She's got hairy armpits. That's all I'm going to say. And she's like, she's not laughing through anything I'm saying. The audience is laughing, but she's not laughing. But she's staring at me, like almost studying me. And finally, I said something like, "Hey, you know, Ancestry DNA. I found that I'm 5% Jewish." And all of a sudden, she went, and she got up and walked out.
she was waiting to be offended.
Waiting to be offended.
She got up and walked out and started complaining to James over at McGuire's.
Waiting to be offended.
He is an anti-Semite. I'm like,
Oh my
I
God.
said that I'm 5% Jewish according to Ancestry DNA.
How
Hello.
is that? What is anti-Semitic about
Right,
that?
She
hello.
was just waiting.
Yeah.
They come and they're waiting.
She was trying to get the free meal. She was like,
Oh.
I'll get the free meal.
I was
You know,
watching at
Jewish.
what do you call it? Right.
Honey, Jewish.
I'm the token Jew, so anything Jewish is a pass. Because
Right.
I represent.
I said to her,
Jews.
"That's so Jewish of you.
He's going to say something
You're being
Jewish,
such a stereotype."
and I'm going to get offended, and we're going to get a free meal. Watch. I'll do it. And that's what
You can't be offended. If you, listen, so much comedy comes from being Jewish. Somebody told me that all Jews in comedy,
true.
Jews in comedy.
actually created comedy.
I think the Jews created
Yeah.
comedy. Jewish
Yeah.
people created comedy because it's that attitude of when something goes right, they'll look for the bad in it.
Right.
Right?
They're very guilt
It's-
oriented.
But the Last Supper was actually open mic night for Jesus.
That's right. That's right.
That's-
Listen, you can go to if I don't know you. I know you're working on being clean. I like to be naughty, but
when?
sometimes I'll say fuck.
I'm not working on being clean. I'm trying.
Trying to be that one show so it doesn't
Just that
slip
one
out.
show.
Right.
Because it will slip out.
Exactly.
Some of the best shows you can ever do are Jewish temple shows.
I
or-
have done a bar mitzvah.
These people come and they understand comedy and the rhythmic timing and everything. It's such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
That's why there's
They're
so,
not
so
offended,
many,
babe. They've
so
been
many
through
Jewish
enough.
people in
Yeah.
comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nothing to
As they understand it.
They
It's
get it.
really somebody told me if you watch any sitcom and you turn the volume off and just keep the words on the closed caption,
Yeah.
they said that's all Jewish sarcasm. It's all that sarcasm.
Right,
you
right,
know?
right.
Like that old joke about the way to go into the table of Jewish ladies. Is
Yeah.
anything all right? You know?
Yeah,
So you're a Jew.
I am.
Jew.
So my joke is I'm 5% Jewish, and I'm like, you know what? I
I
did
wouldn't hear that.
I did the math. I would say 5%. I would say like once every 18.25 days, I'll wake up and I'll just be like, eh.
That was it. And she got offended.
racist. I'm dying.
And she got offended
And
by
the
it.
Jewish people are
That's actually
laughing.
very
The
funny.
Jewish people are laughing, but she, who probably is an agnostic, whatever those people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
braids her armpit hairs, went up there and complained.
How dare he say something?
How dare he?
He's anti-Semitic.
It's just
Bastard.
nauseating. Somebody, I think it was a really good comic. What's his name in the city? He was on stage and he was talking about. He was saying how the word tranny is short for transsexual, and his name is say Christopher, but people call him Chris. The same difference. Somebody yells out, "You're objectifying them!" And I'm looking, and I'm looking like, who's yelling? It was a waitress.
The
Oh
waitress
my
is
Yelling at
yelling.
Andrew
And
Schultz.
the waitress
Andrew
is
Schultz.
offended.
The
Then because
waitress
the
is
owner-
He was
yelling.
yelling at Andrew Schultz saying, "You're objectifying them." And, yeah, he was saying, "My name's Andrew, but people call me Andy. Why is that not offensive?" You know,
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
he was just trying to make a point, and when he was finished making his point, it was brilliant, and everybody
Yeah.
laughed. But the waitress didn't even give him a chance. She started yelling. You figure you're gonna get it from the audience members, but the one.
Yeah.
How did
when
she
the-
not get in trouble
When
from
the
the
waitress,
owner?
I don't know if I've ever seen her there again.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
probably,
doubt
hopefully
it.
not.
The waitress is heckling you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
The
That's
waitress
crazy.
heckles
You
you.
have to worry about the
It's
waitress.
all about attention. They got to be the star of the show, not whoever it is that can't handle somebody else trying to do their performance. It's why I don't do crowd work, because I don't even invite
Yes.
their
You've only
energy.
been doing it for 2 years. You shouldn't be doing.
I didn't talk to the crowd for like 10 years. so-
Okay, all right, but,
Yeah.
but still, I don't like. I just was like, I'm not gonna even invite that, because as soon as you're like, where you from, then they've got that. I don't got my. No, I've
Well-
got my set plan. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. Like when
Don't pay attention to that.
This is
one
the
of the tough
Mandy show.
one of the
Yeah.
toughest thing is when you follow a crowd work comic.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Now, when I was
Because they riled them up.
yeah, I was doing some shows out in the Midwest. So I got a couple of these funny bones, and the feature acts were doing crowd work. Now, if I was more of a known person, I could have brought my own opening act,
Right.
or I could have made some. I try not to be a diva, but if you're doing
This was pre Kevin Can Wait.
no, this was like during. That's the only reason I was that funny.
Oh.
Then all of a sudden the show stopped, and all of a sudden, hey, they stopped calling me. You know,
Yeah.
that's the way it works. That's showbiz. But
Here today, gone today.
that's right. It's all about what you got. What are you doing now? That's what it's all about. So these people were doing crowd work in front of these comics, and I'm like, but it kind of made me up my game. Like I better talk to them too, because I need to work on my crowd work a little too. But I just think what I was taught, I think to be a comic on Long Island, I think we're very lucky, because I think we're taught the rights and wrongs. And one thing I was taught, as a feature act, you don't curse, and you don't do crowd work. You don't curse because
You don't curse.
well, if you're a feature, you don't curse, because if the headliner doesn't curse, now you kind of
Yeah, but the book, it's up to the booker to know how to book.
That is true. That is true
The
too.
thing.
That
Fuck
is-
that. You don't curse.
I'm
That's
saying
a
if you're
load
the
of
feature act,
shit. Yeah.
and also
Yeah, but-
crowd work too. If you're the feature act, you don't do crowd
He has
work.
no faith in me.
You don't do crowd work because what if?
Well, that I can see.
Yeah. Now, if the headliner doesn't do crowd work, now you're screwing the room up for him, because they're like, "Why isn't he talking to us?"
Yeah.
But if the headliner does do crowd work, you're doing his material.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You don't do-
Yeah,
you-
you
yeah.
already went over the gay couple. You guys are from
There's
Texas.
a
We
lot
got
of-
it. You're black. You're white.
Right.
You're Republican. We
And-
get it.
and-
I don't like doing crowd work anyway.
These people, these crowd work comics, it really is an art. And there's some comics I watched that are just so good at it. One guy was, what's his name? He moved to Florida. R.C. Smith.
R.C. Smith was fantastic at crowd work.
He looked at
He
every.
really was.
He must have had 5 answers in his head for
Yeah.
every person. Like,
yeah.
You know who else is really great? Gino Bisconti.
I haven't worked with Gino yet.
Gino Bisconti.
I can't believe I
is
haven't worked with
fan-
him.
He's got a
I heard he's very
mind
good.
like a razor.
Gino.
He is so sharp.
Unbelievable. Just some guy is just so good at it, and it's a skill. It really is a skill. But to do both, that's
Yeah.
a real skill.
Right.
To be able to weave in and out. Sometimes you could do crowd work. If you're a guy or girl that does mostly comedian, you do crowd work, and then all of a sudden you go back to your material, and you're like, well, my material's not working now. It's weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could hurt yourself.
Yeah, because
You
it's
could.
like it's like when you don't want to wave to somebody because it's like, oh, I gotta say hi, and then it's gonna walk up, then it's gonna be this whole
This is like,
conversation I'm gonna have with them.
This is like stand up 101 with Professor Roach here. He's
Dr. Roach.
Don't do it.
I had one
bastard.
question in my act at the very end, and it worked most of the time. But then people started answering the question, but they really weren't supposed to answer the
Rhetorical.
question. It was a
Yes.
rhetorical one, so I'm like, I changed it to telling them. Now I'm going to tell
Smart.
you.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they were yelling out the answer, and it was
She's
the right
good.
answer.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
good.
They're
Tell
stealing your
you.
punchline.
I'm
They're
going
stealing
to
your
tell you
Smart.
now.
Right.
Yeah, they stole your punchline.
I see a lot of comedians do this, and it works, but it's a crutch. Like, let's say you have a bit about surfing.
Right.
Anytime. Anybody surf here? Oh, you surf? Yeah. Oh, how long you been surfing? Like, they'll go to the topic.
Yeah.
But they're really just waiting to come back to them so they could do the surfing bit.
Yeah,
It's like they're throwing a hook out there, and
Yeah.
it works. It works,
Yeah,
but it's a crutch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can go there, hey, anybody into surfing? They'd be like,
Yeah.
staring at you.
Yeah.
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 Anybody
No.
here surfing? This is Kansas, asshole.
The asshole, it's Montana.
Well, one of my
Butt surfing?
good friends that I first started
What is butt surfing? No, sorry.
after
ahead. You know
no
what it
just one of the first kids I met when I started doing stand up. I'm starting still because he's so ready to shoot me with that. Anyways, he loves doing crowd work, only crowd work, and he's a funny kid. And I yell at him because I'm like, if you put more effort into your writing, you'd be further than you are now.
Right.
But so he went on the road this weekend with Mike Keegan took him out.
Yeah.
And
didn't work.
He gets to the place and the guy the owner of the club goes, all right, no crowd work. I'm
Yeah.
like, so what'd
Yeah,
you do?
that happens.
I
That
said, what'd you
happens.
do? Because
Oh,
I
they
used to always
can
say to
get
him,
it?
what are you gonna do when
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have a
That's
crowd?
right.
Or what are you gonna do when you don't have a crowd?
The old owner of the Brokers, before Jimmy and them took it over,
Gary, yeah.
don't talk to the crowd.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
weren't allowed to talk to the crowd.
Wow.
It opens
I don't
up,
want to,
but then because then you want to yell at them for talking, but you were just
Right.
having a conversation with
Yep.
them. It's confusing.
When I was auditioning for Dangerfields, the host said to me, "Don't do crowd work because they like to see that you have material."
Right.
Yeah.
that
But
you're not-
meanwhile,
yeah.
but meanwhile, the host is up there doing 20 minutes of crowd work.
Yeah, but that's the host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you got to follow.
The host
that.
is
Yeah.
is getting them into
Everyone,
the
riled. This is
into
a
the
show
show.
tonight. We're all here to,
Right.
to laugh. Yeah, that's.
And then the host goes, you talk when I'm up here, but when everybody else is up here, you shut up and
It's not right.
all that stuff.
It's just not right, Tony.
Whatever.
Mike, how long we at?
How long?
I'm 21 minutes.
Wow.
I'm proud of you, Mandy.
Ah,
Why, what happened?
21.
She's
I
allowed
haven't
to
cursed
curse.
in
Hasn't
21
cursed?
minutes.
She has a potty
fucking
mouth.
A.
Right?
You're a
Fucking
potty mouth.
A.
Where are you from?
Indiana.
Long Island.
You're South
That's a
Shore.
callback from
Yes,
last week.
South Shore,
South
Suffolk
Shore girl.
County.
Oh,
yep,
God.
Yep, the
Why?
worst.
What's that supposed to be? What's
just
wrong with
saying.
South
It
Shore?
means they swear a lot.
They swear a lot and they.
I was raised on the South Shore. Go fuck yourself.
He was talking about women.
Women. I'm
You
confused. I'm right in the middle, so I'm confused.
Yeah.
Ronkonkoma.
Are you identifying yourself?
I'm objectifying myself.
Are you
Objectifying.
objectifying?
You're objectifying yourself.
You've been working quite hard to make Ronkonkoma more and more famous.
I'm putting Ronkonkoma
You're putting
the
it on the
map.
map.
Trying to put it on the
Yeah.
map.
Right,
Right?
I am.
You got Kevin to say it on Jimmy Fallon.
I didn't.
right?
You know what? I didn't get him to say it, but he just said it.
Oh, he said it?
What's the bit?
I thought he did it for you.
No.
He was talking about stovetop stuffing.
Oh yes, that's a great bit. Yeah, you and your kitchen in Ronkonkoma, because
Yeah.
Ronkonkoma is such a funny word. It's got the K, the consonants.
Right.
I think it was Audie Lang's got that bit where he said he was at like a Met game or a Yankee game, and then somebody yelled out, "Do it for Ronkonkoma!" to like Jeter or somebody. It's like, do it for Ronkonkoma.
That's right, he does
The last
that.
reason I'm
It's just
doing
such a
it.
funny word. What do you think?
I
Did you grow up
don't
there?
know the name of the
Since I was
movie,
5.
but they call it Ronkonkoma. It's like
What?
there's a movie where they're in the city, New York City, and they're like, we have to get back to Ronkonkoma. So me and my sister always call it Ronkonkoma.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Anyway.
It's great.
Say it.
that,
Say it.
You're not a
know
nice
you wanna
guy
say it.
sometimes.
Say it.
Really
You into
mean.
cursing him.
Oh,
It's great listening to
You're a puss
somebody
if you
calls
want
your
to.
house and they try to say it.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best. Ronkonkoma. I'm like, it's Ronkonkoma.
It's better
The way it's spelled.
when you get those
I
out of
thought it
state
sounded
calls.
guys.
Ronkonkoma.
Isn't that how you say it?
What?
Ronkonkoma.
First, they got to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
past.
you're right.
First, they can't believe my name. Like, hi, can we speak to Mr. This can't fucking be right. Ro Ash. I'm like, it's Roach.
Why wasn't Roach?
It's Roach.
Jay Roach directed all 3 Austin Powers.
Yeah, some roaches put the E on the end of it and they
Oh.
make me sick.
Roche.
Roche.
Yeah, they try.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
fancy
Roche.
chocolate.
Just deal with it. It's Roach.
Don't try to church it up, son.
And are you a Long Island boy?
He said he was here since.
Oh,
he
you
was
said
5.
you said you were born in Ronkonkoma, not born in Ronkonkoma.
No, I was born in Queens and
Oh, okay, and
Me
then
too.
migrated.
Queens, and then I moved to.
yeah, from
So
Glen Oaks to Ronkonkoma.
Okay.
So
went
you're
from
not
Bayside
then.
to-
Yeah,
What?
because you started in Queens.
Yeah,
I started on Long Island, Bayshore, motherfucker. That's right. I was
Queens
born.
is Long
I was
Island.
born in Southside Hospital in Bayshore.
Oh, people forget that Queens is Long Island, but to people,
But
New Yorkers,
You're part of the borough
but
there. You
People in
put-
Queens don't think it's Long Island.
Yeah,
You're paying
no,
city.
I
You're
work
paying
now.
city
Queens.
tax.
It's
That's
very
right?
famous.
It's not Long Island.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
If you could take a subway to your friend's house,
yeah, it's not Long Island. If people don't laugh at you for riding on the bus, it's not Long Island.
Yeah,
Chris, if a song played every time you walked into the room, what would be your theme song? Like if you were a wrestler.
Oh, one of my. I always had a song that if I was a wrestler or fighter, and Tony, you're gonna appreciate this song. A great song to come out to, "Damn That River" by Alice in Chains.
Oh, that is
Okay,
a
I'll
good
have
song. Yeah,
it's a
that's
great.
a good song.
I picture a guy coming out with an entourage to that song.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like bouncing.
Right.
I like the heavy.
Pumped up.
I like the angry stuff, and people sometimes get surprised when they hear the type of music I like.
Right.
Because
You're so docile.
I'm usually like a mellow, happy-go-lucky person, but I like angry music.
Music chooses
What's
you.
your top 3 bands right now?
I love Korn. Always a little of Korn.
Right.
What do I listen to? I love Rob Zombie.
Okay.
And what else? Of course, the Ramones. But what else? I'm trying to think of angry music. One of my favorite albums of all times, Tony?
Yeah.
Sound of White Noise
Oh, by Anthrax. Fantastic album.
with John Bush.
That was the first album John Bush sang on.
And let's get
Joey
fingers
Bel-
in here.
Joey Belladonna left. We don't
Yes.
need fingers. I was on the show
That's
for 10
right.
years.
Such an attention.
Joey Belladonna left, and they got John Bush from Armored Saint.
Yes.
And everybody was
I
like,
almost
this is
said
going to
the
suck.
W word.
Very
This
few
is going to
albums.
suck. And White Noise Cat.
Start to
Potter's
finish.
Field, that first song, Potter's Field.
Yes.
That album is fantastic.
Start to finish, great album.
Yep.
Another time when I first heard White Zombie,
The first album?
the second one.
La Sexa Cristo. Oh, the second one?
What was it? Astro Creep?
Astro Creep,
Astro
2000.
Creep. I'm like, what the hell is this? I was blown away.
Crazy, right?
You know how I got into White Zombie? Rob Zombie, and who else made them? Who made Rob Zombie, White Zombie famous? Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
They were
Oh,
always
Beavis
playing
and
it.
Butthead.
I remember rewinding Beavis and Butthead on the VCR because I had it taped. And I'm like, who is this
yes.
band with the riff to
Thunder Kiss 65.
Yeah. I'm like,
Breaking the law.
Yes.
And they're like humping the couch.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I remember when that album came out. It was fantastic
But,
album. And I was like, they got a chick bass player. These guys are awesome.
I know you like your music a little even heavier than I do. You like your
Yeah.
Pantera,
Pantera, Slayer.
Slayer. I like a couple songs by them.
Gojira, another great band.
Wow, Gojira is actually Godzilla.
Yeah.
People don't realize
Gojira is another great band. I've been really into Ghost lately. I really
Ghost?
like
Wow.
Ghost. Ghost, you seen them? You heard of them? Ghost looks like the most blackest death metal band ever, and then they sound like 80s heavy metal.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty, but very good. Very
My
melodic.
son's band is kicking ass. His band,
What's his band?
Carpathia.
Yeah?
They're really good, man.
Nice.
Really good.
How old is your son?
29.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's 29, and I went to see him. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
you would like it, Tony.
I got to check them out, man.
You know,
There you
they
go.
say they're heavy metal, but it's not like the Judas Priest heavy metal we
Yeah.
listen to. It's a little, maybe a little
like
more
close to
screaming.
oh, really? So it's harder stuff.
Female singer that's got pipes. And she's like,
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, like OTEP.
yeah, you're like, holy shit.
Like OTEP and Arch Enemy. Arch Enemy, same things. They got a chick, their death metal band, and the chick singer, and she's like, like just deep and guttural into the mic. She's awesome.
She's
I love
probably on her
music.
period.
Maybe.
They ramp her up.
I just love music.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, listen.
Maybe you like the angry music because you're such a nice person.
That's what it is. I think
Yeah.
It's your
counts.
escape.
I
Yeah.
was into the real angry stuff. Now I'm more into like it's not happy music. Like AFI. I really like AFI.
Right.
You should check them out too. They're
What was
great.
Suicidal Tendencies had that one song.
Yep.
Institutional. What's it called?
Institutional.
Oh, my gosh.
what a-
All
Suicide was
I
great.
wanted was
Okay.
Very
that
good.
Pepsi.
So-
but I can't say it.
Rob Trujillo, the bass player for Metallica, he started out in Suicidal Tendencies. He was
That guy's good.
Suicidal- Yeah, and he's a fantastic bass player.
Gonna cut you off.
Sorry.
Next
We got into music.
question. What's your mission statement? What makes you tick?
I like these questions, young lady.
You're
They're different.
She's good.
My mission statement. Wow, I should really sit down and write one.
Wow.
Because it's good to have one.
But yeah, it is
It's good to have one. I just try to be vulnerable. You know, I always try to be an open book and vulnerable and
You come off as a really nice, genuine person.
Yeah, but
and in this business, that's really hard to
well,
come
sometimes
by.
it gets me in trouble. You're too nice to hurt one person's feelings, so you don't tell them what you feel.
Or you get taken
Yeah.
advantage of.
Yeah, that happens to me.
You
It
get
happens to
taken
me.
advantage of, yeah.
Your cousin was just yelling at me about this. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know. People yell at you for being too nice, but you
Yeah.
can't.
Nobody
you
knows
can't-
who
you
you're
can't
talking
change
about when
who
you
you
say my
are,
cousin,
and you
by the way.
can't
Angela
let
Galizio.
you can't
She's
let
a
one
gentry
person.
talent.
You can't let one person ruin it for everybody.
There was this. There's these bookers, and I don't want to say the name, but in Staten Island, the two of them, they worked together for a while, and then one of them booked me, but I didn't know they were separate. And then they kind of started both give me guilt treatments for working for each other. And I'm trying to be nice to one person, said, if you don't want me to do the show, I won't do it.
Right,
Just
yeah.
Yeah,
try
but
to-
you know what?
Yeah.
You got bills like everybody else.
and then
So
one person shows the other
screw them.
person the text, and she's like, "Oh, you gonna quit on me?" I'm like, "No, I was just being nice, And next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're kisses, you're
Yeah,
a trait.
yeah.
I'm like, listen, I'm just trying
I'm
to.
a diplomat.
I've had enough drama in my fucking life. I just want to get by, make people laugh, make a living
You
in
know,
comedy.
you know
and
what
acting.
is good to relieve that is punch a baby.
Punch a baby,
And
yes.
it'll be
Half
much better.
hour.
Punch a
I might,
baby.
Maybe I should just do it just so you can get your rocks off
about this?
and get the.
I should just for saying that I should. Yeah.
I met a guy in Ronkonkoma that owns a funeral home. I said, "Do you ever just get the urge to prop one of those bodies up and just fucking hit it?
Take the
Give it a
Right.
nice shot in the mouth."
And did he say, "Yeah, I do it all the time. That's why we use the makeup."
Yeah, he looked at me like I was
if it's
crazy.
closed casket.
I'm like, come on, you're having a bad day. You can't hit your wife. You go downstairs, you boom, and punch. Is this sick? I'm sorry. I have a sick comedian's mind. I'm sorry. I do.
I punched Mr. Johnson before we put him in the ground.
There you go. Right? You come out. Yeah.
What did he say? Did he do it?
He said no.
It was
but
Maloney, right?
I,
It was
I,
Mal-
I
it was
thought
Maloney.
he was lying. I
It
thought he
was-
was lying.
It was Maloney Funeral Home in Ronkonkoma.
They have a
Can't
lot
say,
of
but it's
locations.
in Ronkonkoma.
It rhymes with baloney.
Everybody has their ways of dealing with their stress.
Did you see? Not to cut,
Some people
Anybody
punch
off?
dead people.
Right.
but because
I
because
They're out there.
I listen to heavy metal.
yeah,
There you go.
Angry music.
you live in Ronkonkoma.
I curse people
And I live
on
around
Facebook.
We're Conkins.
Did you see the that big fire? The old ass auto shop on.
Oh,
on-
yeah. Sam's Auto.
Sam's. He's been there forever.
It's been there since like 1905, and it burned down.
Burned to the ground.
What
And
caused it?
Jewish landing.
Jewish lightning, baby. Had to be
What?
Jewish lightning.
Well,
What does that mean?
Oh,
was
That
called-
means you burn it down for insurance money.
Oh,
it was
Burn
called
it
Newton's
for the-
Garage.
Burn it for the-
Mike is laughing at me.
Well, Sam was a nice guy. Sam was a nice guy, Muslim, and he was a Muslim. I don't know the word is, but a priest. And he was-
Imam.
Imam. He
That's
was
what it's
such
called.
a nice man. And like one time I was sitting in there, he goes, "You don't mind if we pray?" I'm like, "You want me to go outside?" He goes, "No." So him and his friend prayed, and you know what? I started. I'm Catholic, so I started praying. So we almost like prayed together.
Yeah.
In a moment, it was kind of cool.
And then there was a jihad.
It's kind of cool. Then I got the hell out of there. No, he was such a nice man.
Took out
So-
the sword and was like,
Such a nice-
That was actually leading to one of my next questions is like the great beyond. Do you believe in when people pass on that they have any way to touch this earth, or does love just
yes.
transcend? Well, love transcends, obviously, but
Wait.
do you think they have ways of
So-
contacting us?
Are you asking if he believes there's a higher power, or he just believes in nothing, or does he believe in ghosts? What
I'm
do you-
Catholic. I do believe there's higher power, but here's one thing I always wanted to ask a psychic. Like you always hear, like Teresa Caputo, John Edwards, they're talking to these dead people, but how come they never say, what is there to do over there? Like they're coming back, they're talking to us. What are you guys doing over there? Are there movies? Do you guys go out?
I'd
You
like
know,
to
like-
know that.
You know,
Nobody's asking the right questions.
yes, they're always saying, tell him I loved him and blah, blah, blah. Like, what's going on? Unless they listen, they bring him into a cloud. Like, listen, just keep the answer simple. Don't tell him what's going on up here. You know?
Seriously, just tell them nothing's.
Just tell 'em you loved 'em.
Everything's good.
Tell 'em you
Wear
love
the
'em.
watch. It's all good.
Tell him where the money is, whatever you want. Don't say what's going on up here, because then they're all going to kill themselves and come up at once. Because that's how great it is
Then
up
you
there.
get sent to hell. That's how it really works.
Yeah.
It could be a bit here.
I thought
There
that
is
was
a
a bit.
There is a
You
joke.
thought I was
Like,
paneling, as they say in the business?
there is a joke similar to that where it was,
Somebody did it?
I don't
No.
think
It
so.
was two old women. They were best friends for the longest time, and they made a pact that if one died before the other one, Jimmy, if one died before the other one, they would contact from the great beyond to let them know what heaven was like. It was Elsa and Mary. So Elsa passed before Mary did, and one night Mary's laying in bed and she hears, Mary, Mary. And she goes, Elsa, is that you? She goes, yes. She goes, what's going on? What is? She goes, well, we wake up in the morning and we have a salad. And then we have sex until lunch. And then we have another salad.
And this is what happens when
And then we had sex until dinner. And then we have another salad. And then we have sex until we fall asleep. And then it starts over the next day. And she says, oh my God, that's what heaven's like? She's like, what heaven? I'm a rabbit in Wyoming.
I was going to say, if you like salad, then that's a good place to be. And if you don't like salad, then it's hell.
But what you were just doing with the whole thing with Don Don, that's a good bit, man.
That's a good bit, I guess.
You should
should
make
look
that
into
into
it.
something.
I'll have to watch the replay.
Just don't do it when
We're at
Teresa.
It's 8. Yeah, well, you're at 35 minutes in. So
Wow.
go back over.
Is that your curse-o-meter?
That's her
the
personal
timer.
best.
Yeah, that really
good.
is.
Taz thinks in heaven there's all-star movies being made up there.
All
Right.
All
I like
right.
that
It
answer.
could be. It could be.
I think
And-
there's
and
a
Na-
lot of paper for her
Nancy
to
says, watch
doodle.
Vampire Diaries on Netflix. Loved it. All about the great beyond.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. You ever notice that every vampire movie, like vampires, the rules change. They can go into the,
Yeah, sometimes
one
the
movie.
daylight
One
will
movie
burn
they can
them.
go into the sunlight, but they turn into diamonds. Next movie
Ridiculous.
they go into the sunlight, but they're not as strong.
That
And
Twilight shit.
Another
ridiculous.
movie they go into the sunlight, but they'll implode. It's like
You know,
The Twilight was just an adolescent teenager model.
It was terrible.
That's all it was
was
about.
god
It was
awful.
like really good-looking young people, and
Well-
that happened to be vampires and werewolves.
Well, that's what
My daughter loved
vampires
it.
were. Vampire stories were initially written so that they could get around censorship, because you could talk about sucking on somebody's neck and all this sexual stuff. Vampires are always sexualized,
Yeah.
but they were monsters, so it wasn't. It's how they slid in. And that's
how-
the history of vampires.
That's how Bela Lugosi got all that trim back in the day,
yeah,
man. He was
when you
the
look like Bela
vampire.
Lugosi.
That's how you get
Oh,
the
here's
trim.
something interesting. We were talking about the afterlife. Harry Houdini. You guys know that he's like the famous magician
Yeah,
from
yeah.
I
I've
actually
heard
know
of
who that
him.
Yes.
from
I've heard of
the
him,
from
yeah.
the olden days.
Yeah.
Harry Houdini, before he passed, he told his wife a password.
Yeah. I
Let's
know
say the
this.
password was rhubarb, whatever.
Okay.
And so basically, the wife was going to psychics trying to talk to her husband, or mediums they call them.
Yeah,
Mediums, yes.
She was going to all these mediums, waiting to hear that password, and she never heard the
Yeah, because
password.
it's a lot of bullshit.
Just
never heard it.
so she made sure that he made sure that the wife wasn't getting hosed. He had a password.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, because then
Yeah.
if somebody is really, maybe she just didn't
He
meet
thought he was
one.
on a
That's a
game
great
show in the
idea.
70s.
I'm
You know
gonna
what?
everyone should have a safe word and a password with your spouse or lover
For the afterlife.
For the afterlife. So
But-
when you could send messages, guys. So
But then-
get straight.
As a comedian, I'm thinking like maybe they did reach out to him, and they were like, "What's the password?" He goes, "Oh, this bitch! I thought I was waiting for her. Tell her it's watermelon.
Yeah,
Watermelon. All right. See you later. We got a bit brewing here.
Yeah.
This is why I died, to get away from that yapping mouth.
Tell her it's
He's escaping her.
leave me alone.
He would never say that.
Well, she came up with the password. Maybe it was her idea.
Yeah.
I went to a psychic once with my friend, and she had a picture of her son, and she was holding it against her chest. And the woman started saying, oh, the psychic started saying, oh, your son is waiting for you on the other side, and this and that. And she's like, oh, that's really interesting you say that, because he's autistic, he's not dead.
Oh.
Bam. Farce.
They see
She
that?
was a charlatan.
She was reading her. They read your body language.
Yes.
Right.
There are little ticks.
There are people.
Little things.
A lot of people who do a lot of them say that there are good ones and then there are really
Yeah, I
shitty
think-
ones.
Yeah.
There are some
Right.
people that are like, yeah, the hairs on my
at
head,
one
stood
point-
up, and then there are people that are like,
At one point, I
That.
used to go to them like here and there, like a lot. And I went to one. She's the only one I ever trusted, and she was like, "Your grandfather's coming through." And I was like, "Which one?" Because they're both dead. And all she had a pad, and she would just scribble with a pencil on the pad. And she was looking at the ceiling tiles, and she was like, "It's Alfredo," and that was my grandfather's name. And like every fucking hair on my body stood up. I was
Wow.
like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
So there are some that are legit.
I think there's some that have some kind of connection out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, there's some people that are just like, I went to one, my wife said, oh, she's supposed to be really good. And she's looking at me, she's like, what's going on? And she goes like this around my stomach. What's going on down there? I'm like, I'm fat.
She was touching your stomach?
No, like just doing like, like putting her hand, like she goes, what's going on down there? I'm like, I'm fat. She goes, you need to do something about that. I'm like, okay.
Oh, really?
How psychic of you.
That was
You're a
her
real
psychic
comedian.
ability.
And then she goes, then she knew she knew I was an actor. She goes, also, you need new headshots. I was like, really? Really?
That's not true. Did she really?
Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking
Oh
about, my
my
manager?
God.
She said, I need new headshots. I'm like, come on. That's something that every actor hears.
I need new headshots.
Well, you're supposed to get new headshots every 3 years, so you can't.
I haven't had a new headshot in 20 years.
What have I said? I got headshots last week. They sucked. Get them again.
Yeah. Jeannie Powell, you were supposed to do my headshots. What happened? Anyway.
What did Joey Cola say? It's a carnival trick.
Lauren's yelling out, the power of Christ compels you.
There you go. There you go. So what do we got?
What else?
We still got 14 minutes.
What are we gonna
You want to talk about Kevin?
Yeah,
you being on the show?
Are you like always being asked about Kevin? Like,
yeah, I'm used to it, you know.
because I was like,
If you don't want to talk about it, it's fine.
Okay, I could talk about it.
I was very ecstatic.
Somebody did ask me to ask you about Kevin, and I was like, well,
I don't mind. I don't mind. It's
I'm talking about the whole process of getting picked to be on the show.
Oh, it was incredible.
Not talk about Kevin.
Here's the
Screw
thing
him.
is, like,
I'm talking about you being on his show. That's what
I think
I'm talking about both.
a lot of people don't realize how I got on the show. Some people think that I was friends with him. I didn't know. I had no idea who he had no idea who I was.
He's talking about Kevin James, for those of you
Kevin
who don't
James.
know.
And the show Kevin Can Wait.
I never met him, so it was. I remember it was like December, and I had done a spot at McGuire's on a Wednesday. John Truson had called me up that afternoon and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He goes, "Come on down and do a spot. Colin Quinn's working out his next special." So
that long ago?
Yeah.
When Truson owned it?
It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Truson hasn't owned it for a long time.
And
bro.
McGuire's.
McGuire, he hasn't owned it.
John
for a
Truson,
while.
you're thinking of John Ryerson.
Oh, John Truson. I was thinking John Ryerson.
Truson.
Sorry,
Truson
John.
still works here.
Sorry, John Truson.
So
Sorry.
John gets me in there, and I'm sitting in the back room looking at my notes, waiting to go up. After I forgot who the last comic was, and in my peripheral vision, I saw Kevin walk in with who I recognized was Rock Rubin and a couple other guys, like an entourage. And I'm like, holy crap!
And you were performing?
I'm getting ready to go up. Now it's like the timing was so. When I think about the timing, it's so freakish. They sat down. 2 minutes later, they called me up, and I went up in 10 minutes, and I just did me. I stayed calm, and I did me. And I walked out to the back room. I didn't even make eye contact with the table. I went and I sat in the back. Keith Anthony went up after me, and they were howling at Keith Anthony.
Of course.
And then they left. I never got to meet him until maybe a month or half a month later. I met him here at Governor's, and we were talking. We hit it off. Then another month later, I saw the breakdowns for the show come down on Actors Access. So I called Angela from G&G Talent, your cousin, and I said, Ange.
You don't have to tell everybody she's my cousin.
I said, Ange, submit me right away. She submitted me, and I remember I was down in Florida, Delray Beach, opening for Bobby Collins, and Bobby and I are driving down the beach one day by all these houses, and Bobby goes, "Hey, that's Kevin James's house." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "I didn't know he lived down here." He goes, "Yeah, that's his house right there." I didn't think nothing of it. Kevin and I also had a friend in common named Timmy Duffy. One of the characters on Kevin Can Wait was based on him. Timmy Duffy was a police officer that passed away in a car accident, and we had that friend in common, but I don't think Kevin, he ever told Kevin about me.
Right.
So I'm after I saw his house, the next day, maybe later that night, I go out to get a cigar somewhere, and I walk by this restaurant, and what is the restaurant? The restaurant is called Duffy's. So now I pass Kevin's house,
Wow.
I see Duffy's, and I looked up, I'm like, I'm listening. If somebody's trying to tell me something, I'm listening. And I go home, and I remember Angela called me up. She goes, imagine getting this call. I'm home. Our carpets are getting cleaned, right? There's a big truck outside, and it's so noisy in the house. And all of a sudden, Angela calls me up. She goes, "Kevin James and Rock Rubin, and they call you in 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere." I was like, holy shit. So I'm trying to get out the door. Diane sees me freaking out, my wife. She goes, "Take the car keys. Just go to Burger King, get a soda, and calm down.
Yeah.
Go somewhere quiet where you could talk to them when they call you." And I'm going to walk out, and this big Guatemalan guy is blocking my doorway. He goes, watch this. I want to show you something. And he's sprinkling stuff on my carpet, and he's vacuuming up the dirt. He goes, see how clean? I'm like, sir, I need to get by. He goes, no, watch. I'm like, sir, I got to get by you. I'm like, Diane.
Help.
Diane comes running up the steps. She goes, sir, no, show me.
Yeah.
So finally I get out. I go up Portion Road from Warren. I make a left. Just as I'm passing Regal Cinemas, I see a call from a California area code.
Yeah.
I pull over. It's like, hey, Chris, it's Kevin James, Rock Rubin. I talked to him for like 10 minutes in the parking lot, and they said, we really think you're funny. We want you to be a part of the show. I'm like, thank you. And then I call my wife to tell her, and she's like, so how did it go? I was like, just crying because you know how hard we work, man, and how long we put the acting classes and the shit mics, and we get no respect. We're at the bottom of the entertainment
Can't get any respect.
totem pole.
Yeah.
So
You don't know yet. Stop.
you'll see pain. You'll see pain.
Yeah, we're clueless right now. We're just having fun.
What do you do a Sunday bar show and they turn off the football game? You'll see pain.
They don't turn off the football
We're not bitter
game.
yet.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, can you turn off the football game? Shut up. The football's on.
Man.
They're having a pool tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. So it went to that, and then did you have to read, I guess?
I went in, they called me in for the audition, and... Oh, actually, I'm sorry. The audition happened before Kevin and Rock called me. I did audition.
Oh, okay.
I read for the part of Duffy first. And
Which one was Duffy?
Duffy was the one played by Lenny Venito, season 1.
Oh, yeah.
And that went pretty good. And then they said, we go back out and read for this this guy, Mott. I'm like, yeah. So I read it, and I'm like, it just felt like...
It was you.
Yeah.
Your Mott.
And I read it, and it just clicked, and then I got the call 2 weeks later. And even still, I was like in denial, like... Even after we filmed the pilot, you film the pilot in March, then you have to wait till May to find out if it gets picked up for 6 episodes.
Right, so you're just shaking in your boots.
So you know what I was doing? I was bouncing in Port Jefferson. I just got done filming a pilot with Kevin James, and now I'm like, hey, can I see your ID?
Welcome to Burger King. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Paper or plastic, sir.
People go like, hey, weren't you at the Westbury Music Fair opening up? I'm like, yeah, that's me, but I still need to see your ID. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you got it.
And then I got it, and it was just surreal. It was just incredible. It was an incredible experience, working with Kevin. Kevin and his brother Gary was just so...
Gary's phenomenal.
Gary is so...
Actor and comedian. He's
so underrated.
Gary Valentine.
Gary Valentine is so underrated in both departments.
Yes.
As a comedian, he's a great comedian. As an actor, him and Kevin, between takes sometimes, would whisper stuff to me like, hey, try it this way, or try it that way. So they were like, took me under their wing. They took me under their wing. And working with Gary, man, there was sometimes I couldn't make eye contact because he was so funny.
Yeah.
So fun. You can't look at him. He's so funny. He's just like meant for sitcoms, that guy. Brilliant.
He's great.
So where did you film in California?
No, we filmed in Bethpage.
Bethpage.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bethpage.
yeah. They're filming a new show now. It's called The Crew. It's going to be out on Netflix.
Yeah, Rock posted a picture, him and
Yeah.
Kevin on it.
I heard it's really good. It's going to be out on Netflix. I think with Netflix, they released them all at once.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I'm watching a show called The Outsider on HBO.
I love that show.
It's so great, but then when you're done with an episode, you're like, come on.
Yeah.
You want to see the next one now.
I love that show.
Yeah.
That show is fantastic.
I love having the access to
Disney
the whole
Plus
season.
did that with Mandalorian. It was each week you had to wait for the episode.
Oh.
Now you can watch them all,
That's the way to do it. Release them all at once.
but you had to wait each week for a new episode.
But you know what? There's good and bad. Like one time I binged watched Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I saw the whole series in like 2 weeks, and when it was over, I swear I needed therapy.
I've never
What
seen
am I
it.
gonna do?
I needed therapy.
I just started watching The Sopranos.
Oh my God.
I think I'm 6 episodes in.
I think that you
I
spend
can
so
tell
much.
you anything you want to know
You
about
spend so
Sopranos.
much time with them.
Right, you
So
invest
love it.
Yeah.
yeah, you're so invested in such a short amount of time that when
Yes.
it's over, there's like a depression.
Yeah, there is. It hits you.
They
That
let
was-
you go. They let you down.
There's
show.
if you have Prime, you should watch The Boys.
I heard that's great.
Fantastic show. And I did. I binge watched the whole thing, and then Karen was away. I binge watched it, and then when she came back, I was like, "You got to watch this." And I binge watched it again, and I was like, "It's over."
I know. There was a
Bro.
show.
Is there any chance of you getting on this show, The Crew?
I don't know.
Because you've been opening for Kevin a lot
Yeah.
lately. So
Well, I
Yeah,
think
you were just I had that pulled up that article, but
Mm-hmm.
what I remember it wasn't too long ago. You were just
I
touring
think,
with him.
October.
So
October.
that was not that long ago.
It was, it was like I've gotten to know Kevin pretty well, but it was so weird just like, say, driving through Indiana with him and just talking about anything, Like the other two guys that were with us
You guys
asleep.
drove through in here, really?
He likes to drive. I mean,
doesn't
he
wanna
likes
fly?
to. He likes to. I guess he's probably been there, done that. He's probably did the Winnebago thing.
I guess he just wants the feel of like how it used to be.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
likes being in the like an Escalade, I think it is, something
Yeah.
like a big SUV. And we took turns driving. He drives a lot. He likes
Yeah.
to drive.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
think driving like long road trips and stuff, it's something therapeutic about it.
Yeah, I
It's so
see that.
it really is. There's something
So-
beautiful and relaxing. I love driving in the wee hours. Something about there's something. You
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
when you feel like you're alone.
Yeah.
It's just something about it so cool.
So you're in an SUV with Kevin James blasting across Indiana,
Right.
and did you just like step back for a minute and just be like,
All the time.
"Holy shit, I can't believe this!"
All
right
the time.
now."
That-
like I'm
these
with one of
moments-
the biggest stars in the country,
There was.
in the world, and he's sitting next to me driving me
It's crazy.
to Indianapolis right now.
Crazy. Those moments never pass me. Like one time, season 2, Kevin Can Wait. I had not really talking to Leah that much. I got to meet her, but we were rehearsing a scene in the Monkey Fist office, and it's just a round table that fits about like 6 chairs.
Yeah.
We're rehearsing the scene, and to my left at this round table is Kevin, and to my right is Leah.
And you're sitting in between
wow.
the King of Queens.
And that moment did not pass me by. I was like, holy fucking shit.
Nice.
And I was nervous. I just started to get comfortable around Kevin.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Now, when I
that
started working with him, anytime I saw him on TV, I went right by it. I'm like, I can't watch him on TV
Oh, really?
because it'll make me nervous. I'm just going to
Yeah.
get to know
Yeah.
him as a person.
Right.
So I'm nervous around Leah. Leah leans over, and this was something that Kevin did. I think he did on purpose. Where the first scene we did, we're like, some of us are a little nervous, and I think he flubbed the line on purpose, and the audience went berserk. They loved it, and I felt 200 pounds fall off my back. Where it's okay to mess up.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Now, Leah Remini, we're rehearsing. She's playing Candy Crush on her phone. She leans over and she goes, "Can you help me get past this level?" And I was like, yeah. 100 pounds fell off my back right there.
Right. Exactly.
And
They're people.
And you're their people, and sometimes I wondered, did she see I was nervous and that she
Right.
did it, what?
Right.
Well,
Right.
you deserve it because karma comes around. You're just a wonderful person.
Thanks.
I met you a bunch of times. I don't really know you, but I can see that you're so nice to everybody, whether they're this level on the thing or that
Whether-
level. You're just
Whether
a
they're
nice
as tall
person.
as you
No,
or
man.
not.
So you,
Always
I think
forget.
karma comes around.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Anytime I'm at a comedy show or opening for somebody at a theater, I always tend to gravitate towards the bouncers, or like everybody's like in their dressing room and I'm hanging out with the guy at the door.
Yeah.
The working people.
It almost like reminds you, like, listen, this is where I
Don't
was last
forget
year.
where you came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there 2 years
Exactly.
ago. 2 years ago.
Exactly.
You don't have that elitist attitude that a lot of people have.
2
and
years ago. Yeah, Truson used to make fun of me.
You
like,
still don't.
Chris, like,
You're wonderful.
We're at Ranger games, and we're sitting behind the bench in the celebrity section, and I'm just, like, not aware that I was any kind of a celebrity where
Right.
he goes, and me, Truson's like, this person's staring at you. I'm like, I don't know. One of the most incredible moments of my life, growing up a diehard Ranger fan in Long Island, because my dad was a city cop. They came up to me, John Truson and I were at the Ranger game, Pittsburgh, we were losing, I remember. And they go, we're going to put you on the Jumbotron. I was like, what? So they play a clip of me and Kevin, a scene we did together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
wow.
they post my face, and it's like the longest 7 seconds of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it says underneath you, it says Chris Roach, actor. And I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go, Ranger!
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like the longest 7 seconds.
So you want to tell us again where everyone can find you and about your Roach Motel?
Yeah, Chris Roach Live is my website. It has links to everything. It has links to my album. It has links to everything. My calendar, which could be better.
Everybody's calendar could be better.
Right? My calendar, I'm booked all the way up until February 2nd.
Good for you. Good job.
Groundhog Day.
That's 4 weeks.
Yeah, I have no gigs in February, so shut up.
Borgata, I got the Borgata. First week of February, I'm at the
You're
Borgata.
Jerry McNeely show.
Yeah, that's January 31st.
And February. Aren't you in that show with us?
Maybe. I don't know.
This was a fun show.
I'm so glad you came. Thank you for doing it.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, we really
my buddy,
appreciate
I've
it.
known you
Thank you so much for coming
since you
on.
started.
Yeah, listen,
We've
I
known each
started.
other.
Yeah, no, you were doing it years before I did.
Yeah.
And you were one of the first guys who was very nice to me.
I was always nice to people.
You and your cousin Sal,
You got to be nice
Jamie
to them.
Connors,
Because
remember,
eventually,
good
Jamie
guys.
Connors, may rest in peace.
Yeah, you guys were nice to me.
bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you coming out and supporting us and stuff, and it was great. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything. I know you're gonna be. It's gonna work out.
You're
great
gonna be a
for you.
big star.
You're gonna be something.
Have a cigar.
We're gonna save this in the archives. We go. Remember when Chris Roach was on our show?
Yeah.
And now,
You
now
know, you
we got him.
absolutely are the biggest name we've had on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hi,
Biggest name on
Karen.
the show.
Well, we had
And we had
what's
JP
his
on here,
name,
too, but you were
from the
bigger
Spin
than
Hi, Tony's
Doctors.
wife.
We've had
Say hi to
Mark
my wife.
White.
We had
we had
Mark
Mark
White.
White, the
Mark
bassist
White
for
from
the Spin
the
Doctors.
Spin Doctors.
He's also
Yeah,
a
I
big
love
name.
the Spin Doctors.
I know.
Oh man, I hooked up
He's
at the
a
park
friend
bench
of
for
mine.
that song.
We are over.
Two
So,
princes. I
thank
hooked
you
up.
all for tuning in and watching. Tune in next week. We'll see you then. Don't forget, January 31st, I'll be in it here at the Governor's Comedy Club in the Little Room. Go to govs.com for tickets. Specify you want to go to the Little Room. Ladies, great job.
Thank
we
you.
Went square free. But now this how we
Survived.
do it.
I totally
Give it up for
survived.
Mandy.
I can do it, guys. I
Awesome,
can do
Mandy.
this.
55 minutes.
5 minutes and
55
45
All right.
seconds.
Yeah,
Thanks all
that's a
again for
record.
tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a great night. Peace.
Bye.
Hello. Is this the correct mic? I'm going to get the one that I should have. I know I'm broadcasting, but I don't know which mic this is. This is 2. Hello. Yes, you can hear me. Hello. We're broadcasting now. This is funny because I've never done the actual live version before. Good to go? Yeah. Thank you. Hello. Hold on, there we go. Let me pull up the actual photo. Hello, friends. Joining in. This is fun because I've never done a actual video show before, and this is only my second one to begin with anyway. So welcome to Punk Rap, etc. on Govs Radio. My name's MJ, and if you're just tuning in, / you don't know what the show is about, this is only my second show so far, and we do 3 different types of shows here. We do either album reviews, which are just audio, we do sketchbook, like gig sketching, like live sketching. I have been to, at this point, I think it's 128 concerts in my lifetime, and I have kept track of them all, and I would love to make a sketchbook out of things I remember from those gigs and whatever, and have something to show for it, and kind of look through. So that's one of the types of shows. That's what we're doing today, and that'll be video and audio. And the other type of show is live acoustic music, and I will have that up and running for you guys sometime soon. I have a couple of bands on the horizon, or musicians on the horizon. So today what we're doing is basically, for all the sketchbook shows, we're going to be running through my concert list and just going through and making a sketch page out of it. And I know a lot of people do sketchbook type things on during concerts, like those live sketch at gigs, and I just thought that was always very stressful, so I've never done it. But I'm an artist in general. I love to sketch, and I thought a great way to kind of commemorate like gigs that I've been to would be to make a sketchbook about them, and I've been wanting to do it for years and never actually taken the initiative to do it. So why not now, you know? And it's fun to like do a live sketch. I love watching people work personally, like on Instagram and stuff. So set up here, I've got my sketchbook, which is going to be used solely for doing these types of doing specifically my concert sketches. And it's all set up. I have it all like lined out and all the concerts already kind of like written in there and on the pages above. And something I didn't think of actually until now was like bleeding through the pages. So I might expand it a little bit, or some concerts might warrant 2 pages. So, you know, we'll recalculate as we go along. But I've got here, you're going to see this view for a little bit, which is me. Hi. And then I'm going to change it over to the camera that's over my sketchbook so you can watch me work. Basically, here I have my Copic markers. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use yet. I have no plan. It's just whatever I feel like. I have one headphone on with music for the actual concert, but I can't let you guys listen to it because, you know, copyright. So if you want to tune along at home, you can listen to some of the music that I'm listening to. I'll let you know what I'm listening to. I have one headphone on to hear myself because that's important. So I have my sketchbook, I have my Copic markers, I have some Micron pens in various sizes, I have a pencil and a pen, I have Prismacolor colored pencils that I can use, a very limited set because a lot of my art supplies are all still away in like storage because when I moved out of college I forgot to like kind of take them out. And I have a set of pens that I can use as well. I, at some point in time, might bring in, for some concerts, I have an idea of what I kind of want to do for them, but for this one specifically, I kind of wanted to just have it be stream of consciousness. So I have a bunch of different art supplies that I can use here. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is, besides sketching it, I'm going to talk to you guys about like my experience there and, you know, how the gig went. I have my whole like list of concerts if you want to see them. I have my iPad here for reference, just in case. And for this specific week, we are going to be diving into my first concert ever, which was, drumroll, a Hilary Duff concert. In 2004, I was 6 or 7, I believe, which is nutso. It was in Bryant Park. It was with my father, and he woke me up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was like like the Good Morning America show or something along those lines. And I was woken up and told to wear my Lizzie McGuire shirt, and I didn't question it. And we got up and we went to New York City and we stood in line and we were on TV actually because it was broadcasted. It had to have been like Good Morning America or something along those lines. So we got to go and we got to see her. And here's the fun thing. At this point, I didn't know that like Hilary Duff was a person. I thought that Lizzie McGuire was a person. So when people kept saying Hilary, I was like, who the hell is this chick? But, you know, you learn, I guess, eventually. So I have like my whole list of concerts. You can't see because that's hella overexposed. But actually, I'll change to the next view so maybe you can see from there. Give me a second. Now you can. So basically, I have a whole list in my Google Drive of all of the concerts I've ever been to, and it's very long. It's everything from 2004 up until now. So I've been to, at this point, I think last night I went to a concert that was 128, and I don't do it for like to like go to a certain amount of concerts. It's just kind of happened by accident because I'm super into music and it just, you know, it just happened. So my headphone's cutting out, but I think that's just the headphone. So I went to one in 2004, one in 2005, one in 2006. We skipped 2007. I guess I wasn't worthy of a concert that year. But then I've got 2008 and then 2009. When I was a kid, like I went to like one a year or whatever. And they were always like really big concerts too, instead of being like, you know, GA concerts or whatever, because I was young. And then as time progressed, I got to go to more and more of them. And then we kick it up to like when I was in college, because I went to school in New York City, I just kind of all of a sudden realized, oh, I can just go to these things. Like, not every concert has to be such a huge deal or super expensive, because if you're going to concerts at like Madison Square Garden or like the Barclays Center, it's going to be expensive. However, if you're going to a concert at like a really small gig or like a DIY scene, it's probably going to cost you like maybe $5 to $20. And so I also it became like my profession, and that's kind of what I do now. So I took like photos at a concert last night, and you know, that's again my job. So now I go to a bunch of them, but like all of a sudden by accident in 2019, I racked up 47 of them, which is like almost a concert per week, which is bonkers. And I could never have imagined my life being like that. And I'm so happy that it is. Right now, I even have like all my concerts lined up for this year, the ones I've bought tickets for and the ones I want to buy tickets for. So we're going to start all the way back at the beginning. And I've got, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks of potential content. So we're just going to go for it. Sometimes, some weeks, maybe I might do more than one, because I know that certain concerts are kind of smaller or like not as memorable, but like, for instance, I went to a lot of concerts for my brother's band when I was younger, and so like I have a bunch of them listed on there, and I don't particularly remember like every single one of them or like a particular memory that I had. A lot more concerts are a lot more impactful than others were, just because of either the person or the time of my life that it was in or whatever. And so certain ones will kind of take up like maybe one page, or others might take up 2 pages. It really depends on the situation, but we will account for that as we go along. So right now, because we're starting off with a Hillary Duff concert, I am going to I forget you can see my phone. I'm going to go to, oh yeah, actually, you know what? That's great, because then you can see what I'm listening to. So we're going to go to Hillary Duff, and I saw her on July 16th, 2004. I don't know if you can hear like the background noise. They have an event going on, so it's a little loud, but anyway, 2004, she would have come out with, I think, only 2 of her albums at this point in time. No, she hadn't even come out with Hillary Duff yet, her self-titled. But we're going to pretend that she did, because I want to listen to that music as well. So she came out with Metamorphosis, which was one of the first CDs I ever had, and I loved it. I loved it very, very much. I think that's what I'm going to start with. I think if you're tuning in and you want to like listen to music while I'm drawing, you can also listen to the Metamorphosis album by Hillary Duff. It's a really good one. Yeah, I'm starting off with So Yesterday, not on shuffle. We're going to listen straight through. And I was always pissed as a child that this earring is facing forward and this earring is facing not forward. So we're going to start off. I don't know where exactly I'm going to go with this, but I remember being a kid and being like super astounded with her, the little like Bitmoji type thing that Hillary Duff had going on in the Lizzie McGuire series. Like, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see, Lizzie McGuire. Like this little gal who she had like animated and everything. And I remember specifically about this concert, I was so into her music as a like 7-year-old, you know. It's funny because this was so freaking long ago. So this was like, what, 15 years ago? But I remember that I'm going to do some sketches first and then we'll go in like with color afterwards or whatever. But I remember like waking up really early and my father was like, bang, bang, it's me. We're going to go to this concert. And so I remember like waking up really fast. Hold on. I'm going to go with, I want to focus on like the bed of me like waking up and that like shirt, the t-shirt, which is going to go here. And then the concert, I remember seeing us on TV afterwards. Some of these might be more abstract, like I might just do whatever I was feeling at the time. But this one, I have very like clear memories of being a child and being there. So I want to focus on these like 3 things, right? So I remember being in like my childhood bed and I had this like poof of a hair. So I remember waking up and this is like, I had like this scrunchie on, which is funny because they're kind of coming back. This is like the goth version of me as a child, basically. So, remember waking up and my father kind of busting into the room, me being like, what the hell is going on? Because I knew that this was happening. I was told to lay out my Lizzie McGuire shirt the night before, but I didn't like think about why, you know? No one told me. They just said, get some sleep early and we'll be here to get you in the morning. And I was like, I mean, okay. It sounds right to me. Sounds good. It's hard not to sing along. I don't know if you can actually hear like the music in the background, because I can. It's very loud in my ears. Who else? Like, text me if you're listening and tell me if you like also listened to Hillary Duff like religiously as a small child. I had these like really great curls on my head. Here's me being very confused as a child. And this was my door. Well, actually, my door's over here, but we'll get that. We'll make it happen. No, you know what? Who cares about the actual logistics? This is going to be my dad coming in to tell me that I'm going to the concert. I remember, this is like one of my clear memories of like actually being a child, of like remembering that I did go to this. It's my dad's hair. I remember like creating little dances to this album when I was a kid. It's him opening the door. It's going to be a silhouetted version of my father being like, here. I'm going to have him holding out the shirt. Remember him just being like, you have to wear this shirt. And I literally was like, why? I don't want to. It was like this really, like this pink shirt. Hold on. We're going to do, kind of have this like fade off. I want this to be like my headboard. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing too. This is me in my bed as a child. I really did have this kind of hair. But I was so in love with like Hillary Duff and her stuff. It's funny because I don't normally speak when I draw. So like this is so like odd to kind of force myself to. Just something I'll overcome as time progresses. It was like this pink shirt. It was like this pastel pink color. This shirt does not have on any shoulders. It had like these little ruffles on the end that weren't this big, but, and it had the like little like Hillary Duff Bitmoji in the corner, like leaning like sassily like she does, you know. It's my dad holding out my t-shirt with his hands. Here, wear this. I genuinely hope if you're listening to this that you're listening to the Metamorphosis album by Hillary Duff, because it's a good one. Yeah, it had like little frills on the end. When we get to the more recent concerts, that'll actually be like, I can tell you more about like the music, because honestly, I don't remember a lot about like the actual like her performance, because I was just so overwhelmed by all of this stimulus around me that I was like not even focused on the music. I was like, oh, we're gonna be on TV, whack. Oh no, those eyes are not doing me any good. Oh, what a funny little character. That's gonna look better when I actually do the line work. Yeah, this was a funny she always had her arms crossed. Wonder if I can find the shirt that I'm talking about. Lizzie McGuire shirt. It was like pink and it had like, it's not coming up so fast. I genuinely wish I like knew what it looked. I think it was also a pajama shirt, And that's why I was like, why do you want me to wear this out of the house? I can't find the one that I specifically wore. Damn, I wonder if I'm like imagining this. I'm like looking through them and I cannot find the one that I'm talking about. Yeah, they were all really funny. I know it was pink. It was like baby pink. Yeah, it's not these. It was like her like sassily leaning up against nothing. No, I can't find the one that I had. It was for like children. I don't know if it did say Lizzie McGuire on it, to be honest with you. I have no idea. That's funny. I mean, she had what a style icon in and of herself, by the way. Like her and Miranda. This freaking hat. I always thought, oh, I could pull off a hat like that, and I definitely couldn't have as a child. I could tell you that. I thought that I probably could, but I definitely couldn't have. I never owned one, which is honestly probably for the better. Like beanies and stuff too. I'm also like hella hoping I'm actually broadcasting right now, because I can't find it on the Facebook, which is good.